Welcome back, Shark Kings. If you clicked on this video, chances are you're tired of your time being wasted by video games. 50-hour games that peaked at hour 5. What if a game peaked and ended after only 2 playthroughs? Is that even possible? Shark games do exist, but when you scroll through the catalog in PS Plus Extra, it's easy to feel lost. Half the titles look unfamiliar. Some have pixel art, others look like they belong on a PS2. And you might even think, I didn't buy a PS5 to play budget indies or shovelware. Don't want to take that risk? I get it. And that's why I made this list and this video for you. I've played every game on this list and they all finished strong in under 5 hours. There's a wide mix of genres here too. A brutal boss rush for Souls-like fans. A chaotic open world FPS with neon dinosaurs. A beat 'em up with an IP you already know. From heartfelt to horror, this video's got it all covered. Whether you're in the mood for intensity or something more mellow to relax to. The common theme today is these games respect your time. They all can be beat in 5 hours. If you're enjoying the concept of this video, leave a like. This tells YouTube that this small channel has decent quality. Oh, and subscribe. So let's start off strong with Hotline Miami. Imagine John Wick in a neon dream, but you're also on drugs. You play as a hitman, but it's anything but silent. This is not a stealth game. It's basically just you and a whole building of Russian gangsters. It's hyper violent and aggressive. It's a high octane action game overflowing with brutality. You die lots, you try lots. The levels themselves only last about 7 minutes at a time, and that's being generous and assuming you die lots. In reality, the missions can be as short as 3 to 5 minutes, if you have a great build and strategy. The visuals of this game it's a top-down shooter, but the gameplay is more similar to Ghost Runner. It's got pumping synth music and fast-paced action. You get hit once, you die. It is punishing, but you will get addicted to it. Every death comes with a lesson. You try and try again until you figure out the perfect run. Yes, it does look like an SNES game, maybe even NES, but it is stylish and unforgettable. There's nothing quite like Hotline Miami. The Platinum can take you up to 15 hours, tripling the original runtime, and the replayability here comes from the mask system. Each mask gives you different perks, whether it's faster, stronger, or more melee-focused builds. You'll find yourself going way over the 5-hour runtime because you'll want to get the perfect score. So if you're obsessed, you'll retry with a different build until you get the best score. It's an adrenaline shot straight to the brain. The story is mysterious and keeps you going too. And my favorite thing to ever come out of this game was that this character was unlockable in Dead Cells. Another great game. I had such a fun time with both games. It was the ultimate crossover.
I fucking hate tutorials, and this one is terrible.
Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. This game has nothing to do with Far Cry 3. Instead, it's a love letter to 1980s sci-fi action, from movies like Tron to Terminator to Blade Runner, but it's closer in tone to Kung Fury. Remember that movie? It is insane. It's got lasers, dinosaurs, sharks, and even intimate scenes in pixel art. It is very 80s. It's so fun and it does not take itself seriously at all. Right off the bat, even the tutorial will make you laugh. It's the only open world game on the list and maybe the best way to wean you off Ubisoft, if you're the type of gamer who only plays AAA titles and has avoided indie classics up to this point. It's everything you're used to, but in a tight package. The gameplay is over the top, its visuals are cyber and neon tinted, and the plot is super cheesy and on the nose. It embraces parody and absurdity, never full of itself. It plays just like a Far Cry game. There's animals, cars, driving, unlocking bases, so you'll feel right at home with all the controls too. The missions themselves only last like 10 to 20 minutes, and the whole game can be beat in 4 to 6 hours. It is the perfect blend of games you're used to without the time commitment, with the added touch of humor and nostalgic references. If you like games like Wolfenstein, Doom, and movies like RoboCop and Predator, you'll feel right at home in this silly adventure. Blood Dragon is not for everyone, but it does have a cult following because of its humor, style, and its sheer audacity. If you missed the open world AAA formula but don't want to invest in the latest one because you don't have time, jump into Blood Dragon. You'll be sold as soon as the tutorial starts. The only thing I didn't like about the game is I think it's still 30 FPS. killer frequency. Let's not leave the 80s quite yet, but we are going to slow things down a bit and jump into horror. Have you ever wanted to be a radio DJ and press those buttons that make the annoying sound effects? Take calls, play songs? Do you get bored when games have a lot of talking and you wish you had something to do like paper trash basketball? Killer Frequency is a weird mix of first-person puzzle solving and slasher mystery. Think like Scream, but mixed with Pontypool. That might be too deep of a cut. You arrive on the scene as the hotshot DJ from the big city. You move to a Midwestern town set in the 1980s. Wait, how is this a horror game? Where is the hook? Well, what happens is something happens to the 911 operator. And since the town is so small, the number gets rerouted and you become the place to call. Whether you're requesting songs, dialing for an emergency, or doing prank calls. You're the small town's main entertainment. The entire game takes place inside the radio station. And you decide what happens through the advice you give to the callers. You do have the freedom to move around the radio station, to look for clues and learn more about the town and its inhabitants, but it's mainly a dialogue-driven experience with branching narratives. But again, it does have FPS gameplay and clue hunting. Missions, or calls I guess, typically fall under 15 minutes, which keeps the pace tight and immersive. It doesn't take itself too seriously again, but the balancing with the humor and the suspense surprisingly works. The highlight is definitely being the DJ, working behind the booth, playing with tapes, records, and even running ads. The story will keep you hooked, and the characters you interact with will keep you entertained. It's not for everyone, but it is quite the unique game that tried to do something very new. So I'll give it props for that. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. If you haven't seen the movie already, what are you doing? Go watch that first. It's the ultimate video game movie, even more so than any movie that's actually based on a video game. This is a side-scrolling beat-em-up, sort of like Ninja Turtles, and here's the shocker. Developed by Ubisoft? What? If you've seen the movie, you know what to expect. Indie spirit, pop culture references, and quirky humor. You can choose from a range of different characters from the comic, including Scott, Ramona, and others. If you're from Toronto or ever been, there's a bonus treat of all the local references to places you've personally hung out in. Gameplay-wise, it is a beat-em-up, so you punch and kick through the hordes of hipster enemies and eventually fight off mini-bosses, aka Ramona 7 Deadly X's. The best part of this game for me is that whenever you defeat an enemy, they turn into coins. Not just any coins, Canadian coins. Love that representation. The game is most fun in co-op mode. It can handle up to 4 players. You'll level up your stats by buying merch and street food. The individual levels take about 20 minutes depending on how big your party is and your skill level. It's another game that doesn't take itself too seriously. You're starting to see a theme of the kind of games that I enjoy here. Similar to the movies and the comics, it is fast, funny, and highly stylized, celebrating the love of youthful awkwardness and video game culture. I personally read the comics before the movie, been to the majority of the places referenced, but the one thing I did not like about the game is it's broken. I've tried with multiple characters, and whenever I get to the vegan boyfriend, the game just crashes. I've never had a PS5 game just crash, but this game crashes. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's my save file, but I really want to beat this game, but wait a minute, let's go back. Maybe this is not too surprising. It is made by Ubisoft after all.
Damn it. Now, I don't know if you've ever found yourself in this position before, but sometimes you just gotta go with your gut.
1111 Memories Retold. Okay, it's time to stop with the silliness and get serious. 1111 is an emotional game about World War I, and here's the kicker. It does not glorify the violence. Here's another unexpected angle. It's not based on Americans. You play as a Canadian and a German on either sides of the war. Both protagonists hate the war, hate violence, but are forced to do what they have to for their family and country. The first thing you notice about this game is its visual style. It's almost like an impressionist painting. The Canadian war photographer is voiced by Frodo, Elijah Wood, and the other character is a German engineer who just wants to find his son. The game explores the human cost of war with a reflective tone and a deeply emotional story. Think Valiant Hearts or This War of Mine, but first-person 3D environment. Instead of combat, we have puzzle solving, and it's driven by dialogue choices. Each chapter can be completed in about half an hour, and the full experience can take up to 6 hours if you lollygag. The gameplay is not too difficult, but the story is the star of the show here. It's emotionally heavy with themes of morality, loss, and reconciliation. Unlike the other games, this game takes itself very seriously, and it succeeds in doing what the majority of war games fail to do. Humanize your opponents and don't glorify the violence. After you play this game, playing games like Battlefield and stuff, you'll just realize that you're so desensitized to the violence. Killing is just points, and it kind of makes you sad, which is what this game does.
Purest obsidian, and thus a glimmer of hope remains.
Eldest Soul. I haven't played too much of this game, but from what I did play, I can tell you that this is the hardest game on this list. If the soul part of the title didn't clue you in, yes, it's kind of a Souls-like, almost, but it'd be more appropriate to call it an atmospheric boss rush game. It's a challenging action RPG where players face a series of intense boss encounters, kind of like Shadow of the Colossus. And here's what makes boss rush games different than Souls-like. There are little to no regular enemy encounters in between, so there's no filler, no warm-ups, no mob. Just you and the hardest bosses you'll encounter in a sub 10-hour game. The main focus here are just the boss battles. You'll be dodge rolling quite a bit, and there is a lot to learn as far as how to upgrade and maximize the perfect build. My favorite thing about this game was that you're not committed to using up your skill points. So if you spent your skill point on an ability that you're not really using, you can totally take it back and use it on something else. It is tough, no doubt about it, but it is also rewarding in that, oh, just one more try kind of way. So expect to die many, many times before you get it right. But when you do, it will feel so good. It is a 2D pixel art cousin of games like Dark Souls or Sekiro, where every slash matters and every mistake will cost you dearly. I almost wasn't going to include this one because it will take you a lot longer than 5 hours, but I know there are a few hardcore gamers here that might get bored of the other titles on this list that are a bit more chill and passive. So I just wanted to let them know that challenging and rewarding games do exist in short form, so you can still tell everyone else to get good. Because apparently I suck at this game. I only made it like 3 bosses in. Coffee talk. Okay, after the stress of Eldest Soul, you probably need a break. Coffee talk is the exact opposite of what we just covered. You play as a barista and an owner of a cozy late night cafe in an alternate version of Seattle, where humans and monsters coexist. There are elves, vampires, werewolves, succubi, orcs, and other fantasy races. And you don't have to fight them here. They're just coming in for the atmosphere and to have a warm drink with the added appeal of someone to vent to. So you play as a barista. What does that mean? Well, you make coffee and you listen to your customers. I know I say that other games are narrative heavy, but this one is literally all narrative. You can't walk around, you can't explore, there are no side quests. All you can do is punch in for your shift and listen to people as they tell their stories. It sounds really boring on paper, and maybe it is for a lot of gamers. But the world building here is surprisingly unique. Because there are so many species and monsters, there are political issues, and racism, and classism, star-crossed lovers, cops, and humor. Oh, and you also have to make the coffee too. Sometimes people will order it directly from the menu, so you know exactly what they want. But other times, they'll have you guess what to make them by giving you vague clues. And since you don't have the recipe figured out just yet, you just have to guess what combinations of milk, coffee, sugar, honey you have to do to appease this customer. And once you get it right, it'll get added to the menu. So that's it. That's the game. Listen to stories, serve them drinks. So it's more of a visual novel than a traditional game, I guess. But the writing and characters are likable. I don't know what else you expected. It is called Coffee Talk, after all. The music here is really chill. Think like that old lo-fi beats channel on YouTube with the girl and the cat. You'll be pressing X a lot, but maybe you'll get into the story, and maybe you're like me and make the wrong things on purpose to see what happens. It's one of those games that make you feel better and more relaxed after you play, especially if your last game made you fight a boss 10 times over and over again and your controller almost went out the window. Sometimes it's just nice to take a break, drink coffee, and just talk, or listen, I guess. Concrete Genie. I'm going to be completely honest here. I played this game so long ago that I almost forgot what it was all about. Let's go check it out. February of 2021 is when I beat it. Oh my god, that was a lifetime ago. From my memory, I do remember doing graffiti on the walls of the city and avoiding getting picked on by bullies. I don't have any game footage because I played it so long ago, so let's just go watch the trailer. It is a game made for people who used to draw doodles on their notepads and homework. You play as a kid in an abandoned, polluted town, running away from bullies, and your only weapon is a magical paintbrush that brings street art to life. The core mechanic here is pretty simple. Paint some murals on the walls and watch them get animated. Lights might flicker, trees might sway, the paintings might come to life. So you're sort of beautifying the rundown, polluted city in the process. It is an easy and short game, but it's more game than coffee talk at least. There are stealth sections here and even some light platforming, but the focus is the creativity and the story of the boy. Most players can finish it in under 5 hours, but it can be enjoyed at your own pace. The most unique part of Concrete Genie is using the controller's motion control to turn the world into your magical sketchbook. So because of this openness to creativity, no two players will paint the same world. Kind of like Chicory. That was a great game.
Is this the island I dreamed about? This can't be a coincidence.
Call of the Sea. I don't know why, but when I first downloaded this, I thought it was going to be a 2D platformer. It turns out it's actually a 3D adventure puzzler set in the 1930s, where you walk around on an ancient island trying to unlock its mystery. The story here, and especially the ending, was unexpectedly good. It was so memorable. The puzzle solving itself was pretty decent and quite rewarding if you managed to figure it out yourself and not look anything up online. You play as a woman with a rare genetic condition. Your husband came to this island to try to help you, but he perished. So you get on a boat and go after him to try to find where he went and what he unlocked. You arrive at these uncharted islands filled with ancient ruins and mysterious machinery and puzzles. The gameplay is all about solving environmental puzzles. Just you, your notebook, and your clues. The brain teasers can get surprisingly tricky. Again, please try to do it without looking it up because it'll make you feel really smart. The cinematics and voice acting are pretty good, and the slow burning mystery does pay off in the end. Play this one in between more serious games. The sound is not that necessary, even though it's nice and beautiful. You can get away with playing a podcast in this one.
KATAMARI on the swing. KATAMARI on the swing.
We love Katamari, REROLL. Okay, I saved this one for last not only because it just arrived this week to PS Plus Extra, but also because it is just so dang weird. I know what you're thinking. How does this game have a rating of 81? Well, this is a remaster of the 2005 game that was released on the PS2, so it preserves the art style and gameplay but has smoother performance and updated resolution. The gameplay itself is pretty simple. You just make a snowball bigger, but instead of snow, you're rolling objects. And the bigger your ball gets, the bigger items you can consume. What makes it so addictive are the goals. Get the ball this big in under 3 minutes, and go. Each level has different themes and challenges. You start really small and work your way up. Can even go underwater and gobble up marine life. Each level is about less than 5 minutes, so it's a very get in and get out kind of game, which is great for short sessions to take a break from the more serious ones. It's a fun gameplay loop and very kid-friendly, but it will challenge you if you don't stay focused and get distracted. The controls are really weird and don't make inherent sense at first, so you'll feel lost in the first little bit. Speaking of weird, let's talk about the art style. It's like mixing wacky Japanese game show zaniness with the art style of a Beatles music video. Yellow Submarine meets PlayStation 2 Fever Dream vibe. The candy-colored, surreal, whimsical, and unsettling visuals are straight out of the LSD era. The soundtrack doesn't make you less uneasy. It is upbeat and chaotic with Japanese English lyrics that were written by either a kid with a sugar high or an underground Japanese punk band like P-Lander Z. Oh man, with the deep cuts today. So many mics. It's nonsensical, and that's part of the charm. You're not supposed to question it. Just roll with it. It sort of makes you appreciate how weird games used to be and the chances they took. Sort of like early YouTube. Anything goes. The memes that were viral in the early 2000s wouldn't even get past the censors these days. It was a wild time, and this game is a nice time capsule of that era, where creativity was actually encouraged. So as weird as the game seems to us, it makes you miss the time period when games took a chance and didn't care as much. They didn't have to be perfect and polished. I'm going to say it again. Didn't take themselves too seriously. Which seems to be the ongoing theme in this video. So I know this game's not for everyone, but let's just appreciate this sort of thing still exists in today's gaming landscape. So there you have it. 10 games that you can technically finish in 5 hours. Results may vary. 10 games that give you a great world, great gameplay, don't waste your time, yet don't sacrifice quality. We went from brutal boss fights to barista banter, from retro arcade style beat 'em ups to quiet moments. There were games that looked like they were made 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and even 30 years ago. Games that you will have fun with but don't need 50 hours to beat. In fact, you can beat all 10 of these games before you could finish one modern AAA title that's full of grinds, fetch quests, and collectathons. These are mostly easy games with great stories and great gameplay from all kinds of genres. The one thing they have in common being they respect your time. So if you're tired of games overstaying their welcome, give one of these a chance to become an official Short King. If you want to see the list of all the short games on PS Plus Extra, join to become a member and you'll get instant access to this spreadsheet. You can sort it too, either by rating to see which games are the best rated on Extra, or you can sort them by runtime to see what other short games are on the catalog. Plus, you get to see their score too. If you want to see more videos that have a short game list, check out these ones. We covered 4-hour games before, and even the top games under 3 hours. I know it's kind of ironic to have a long video talking about short games, so thanks for watching till the end. I hope you found a new gem, and until next time, be a friend, and I'll see you again.